Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, whatever time zone you guys are in. Welcome back to the stream. I'm your host, Kommissar Azura. And yeah, welcome to the Friday the 13th special. Today we have Mari here
Hello.
and our guest for today, Bella from Bellanacht 3D.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. Yes, like extremely early for you, isn't it?
It's 2 in the morning, so we're good.
Yeah.
We
So
do also have Velverosa as well.
yeah, we also have Valvarosa here in the background.
And waiting on
Okay,
men.
Bella, can you tell me a bit about yourself?
So I am a 3D artist. I have my own little business called Bellanacht Miniatures. I make mostly female miniatures for 3D printing, and also a story writer, like a narrative designer for video games. So I work as a story writer for a company called Ghost Moth based in Australia. Well, I live over
Mm-hmm,
here in New Zealand.
mm-hmm,
And that is
of course.
basically my whole life. It's sculpting and video game writing, and that is it.
Nice.
That is really awesome. That's really awesome, actually.
uh,
Yeah.
So, what makes you go into like 3D sculpting as a hobby and as a career?
well, I went to university in Melbourne for game design, and I'm a self-taught 3D artist, and I wanted to be a 3D artist in games.
Mm-hmm,
And when I graduated from uh, my university, I ran into the problem everyone else ran into, which was too many graduates and not enough jobs in the city.
yeah.
So like I freelanced, I did I did a lot of graphic design and web design all on the side, just keeping the bills paid. I did some 3D prop design as freelance for like some Mars VR games.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had been involved in my own like beauty business that I've been working on the side, and that kind of came crashing down all at once, right as like my Australian visa was ending. And
Ah.
my former teacher kind of pulled me aside, and he showed me this Kickstarter by it was by Artisan Guild, where they had made a set of 3D characters
Mm-hmm.
that were printable, and he's like, "You can do this." So we spent like 2 months, I don't know, like 2 months of me just like crash course learning how to create a figure to be 3D printed. And I created like 8 characters, I think it was, for my first campaign of Beautiful Night Kickstarter campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And then that did really well. And it kept me alive during all of the COVID lockdowns, because this was all right before COVID. And then so I've kind of just been doing it ever since. I sort of fell into it all because my teacher kind of bullied me into it when I was all poor and mopey one day. And I'm
Yeah,
still doing it.
that is extremely awesome. I'm glad you had good fun doing it.
It's a lot of fun. It's a heap of fun. I never thought I'd actually get a chance to make money
Yeah.
sculpting things that interest me, rather than sitting in an
Mm-hmm.
office somewhere creating things that interest someone else.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, at the moment, what scale do you mostly print at?
I am pretty solid at the 75 millimeter scale,
Ah.
because I always get so bogged down with details that
Mm-hmm.
I don't do 32 millimeters very much. But then I also don't want to do the very large scales, so I've just kind of been sitting pretty in the in between, where I kind of keep both camps happy, but not
Yep.
quite. So
Mm-hmm.
75 is my main little area, but I did do a Kickstarter a while back of 32 millimeter little animal characters.
Yeah.
And my next Kickstarter, I'm finishing up the last stretch goals from my previous one, but my next Kickstarter will have a character that's about 120 mils, so I'll split it into
Oh,
pieces so it
yeah.
can be assembled. So that'll be a bit of a learning curve, but it'll just be one solid character, and I'll have it all cut up properly the way everyone has been asking so nicely for so long.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's really awesome. So, uh, you say that you are doing some publishing and like writing. So, what do
Yeah,
you do?
so
Yeah.
that's my other hobby. That's probably like my longest standing hobby or thing that I do besides, trying to work into games. So ever
Mhm.
since I was a teenager, I was a huge book nerd, one of the little quiet ones who had like 5 books at all times that I was reading at the same time. And I always thought, oh, I want to be a published author one day. But obviously, I didn't study that in university because I didn't think it was a viable option. So I've always written on the side.
Mhm.
But after studying game design, and then leaving university or during university, I wrote some little short stories. I started writing I have like a novel that I've written that's waiting to go to an editor at the moment, all during like university and such. Been sitting on it for like, I don't know, 5 years. And it's
Uh-huh.
only just now going off to an editor this year. Um, but from that, because I wrote those little short stories and published them, I got a position as a game writer for the company in Australia that I also helped co-found. So
Ooh.
they sought me out based on my short stories. So even though
Mhm.
it wasn't game writing, it was like a little romance erotica piece, very short. But they're like, "We love it. We want you to come write and help us found the studio." So that's how I fell into that. And now I'm working on my own little 5e based RPG. So
Ah.
a few months ago, I started writing for this new platform called Kindle Vella, where it's like serial episodes, serial fiction, where you drop like a small, like chapter size episode every week or every couple weeks. And
Mhm.
I just started that on a whim because I was like, well, it can't hurt to try and make some extra cash, right? And it
Mhm.
actually has been doing really well. I've made more from that than any other writing endeavor in my life. And that story has been doing so well. And I thought, oh, well, what if I turn it into a video game? And I was like, no, I can't turn it into a video game. I'm not that talented. I could turn it into a tabletop game and make
Yeah.
minis to go with it. So now I've got like 20 years of RPG work, and it's urban fantasy based. And now I'm kind of dedicated to it because after like searching for like Dungeons and Dragon 5e urban fantasy games to read
Mhm.
about or to play or to try to play on the side, I can't find any. Or there's only a couple, and they're like little indie made and based on video games that are just like little fan made RPGs. I'm like, well, now I have to finish it because I can't find any, apocalypse urban fantasy RPGs with 5e rules. So now I
Ah.
have to try and finish
Yeah.
this and then make a whole bunch of minis to go with it. So that's just a whole bunch of more work I gotta do.
Yeah. That is probably like a lot of the reason why, I think I talked to you about the Aerobelica project that I've been working on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been following it on the side. My brain is so scattered. I've got ADHD and 500 projects, but
Yeah, I know.
I've been following very quietly.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been, inspired by almost the same thing because like I just want to do like to make something that is like a war game that is full of erotica, but like there isn't one in the market, so I just have to do it myself.
That's the way of it. If you can't find it,
Yeah,
you have to make it.
Yeah.
But then I think it's also the point of when you try to make something that you think people want, it seems to, like, at least for me, it doesn't really work out very well when
Yep.
I try to make something that I think they want, and then when I'm just like, oh, fuck it. I hate that. I'm just gonna make this thing over here that I
Mhm.
want to make that I think is cool, and then it's always those projects that tend to do better
Yeah.
or do well.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of trying to stop myself from trying to cater to what I think people want and just trying to make what I want
Yep.
because it seems
I
to
think
just
like
end up better.
yeah, I think it's just that when you have when you pour your passion into something, it just shows to everyone else, and then they just you know uh they synchronize, like they can see your passion in a project,
Mm.
and it just
And
shows.
build it and they will come or something like that.
Yep. Uh, so what are you currently working on for your minis?
So currently I have a Patreon where I do about 2 minis a month. I know it doesn't sound like much, but all these other Patreons, they all have like tons of people working on them, so they can you release like 10 or 15 minis a month. And for this, it's just me. This is just a one person deal. I do almost everything myself.
Hmm.
I have one guy in Vegas who does my pre supports, and that's it. Um,
Yep.
Everything else is just me, the graphic design, all of it. So I have a Patreon where I do about 2 figures a month, and this month the patrons have voted on not a normal theme like they usually do. They voted on something weird because I ran out of ideas from my poll of
Hmm.
themes to do, like harpies or death or half orcs. And I couldn't think of
I'm
something else,
weird.
so I just put something weird, and they all voted for that. So now I have to think of something weird. So I'm working on that, and then I'm finishing the last couple stretch goals of my previous Kickstarter, which was Demi Demons,
Ooh.
which was this little set of the little demons who just weren't quite bad enough to be full demons and live in hell, and with all the other demons. So they left hell and they came to Earth, and they all live together in a flat in Melbourne, and they've all got their little quirks and their little
Hmm.
stories. And you see, I made the set because I had the idea for the characters, but I didn't really flesh them out much because I didn't think, well, people aren't really going to want the stories or anything. They're just going to want the little printable characters. So I gave them brief little backstories, and I put the characters out, and I did the Kickstarter, and it was actually a little more well received than I thought it would be, and people actually wanted the little stories and backstories. So
Hmm.
I've been like, oh shit. So that was a mistake. And now I have to
Yeah.
actually put more thought into this because they actually want it. So I've been like rewriting and like kind of fleshing out what the world would be, and I've got like 2 characters left that I haven't finished that they've been waiting for months because
Hmm.
all of my campaigns have been cursed. I've done 3 campaigns, and at the end of each campaign, something has gone horribly wrong in my life that has just thrown me back by months. And
Jeez.
so, like, I've blinked, and it's been almost 6 months since that campaign ended, and I still haven't finished like the last character. And I'm like, oh shit, why
Oh
does this
shit.
happen?
Yeah.
Every time, each campaign, something terrible happens at the end. I'm cursed.
Hmm. And honestly, I and talking about your demon Kickstarter, I actually like really enjoyed the writing there as well. So yeah, I'm really glad
See,
that you're expanding the lore in
yeah,
there.
so
Like
so
it was
that's why
cool.
it's a little bit later because I have been expanding the lore a little bit, like kind of setting the
Hmm.
grounds for the world, so I could add more characters and I don't know, write a short story. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think people would want it, so I didn't really worry about it so much. It was just an imaginary world in my head that I played with, and like this is fun. And then people liked it, so now I got to do more. So there's a little more. There's more. There's like I've got like I don't know 15-page PDF with a little bit expanded backstories and a little rules of the world. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with this. Am I gonna do 3D comics? Someone told me to do 3D comics, or I could write short stories for the little characters, or keep making more characters. I definitely want to make God, like the Christian God. His name is Howard. He goes by Howard. And
God, Howard.
he spends most of his time on Earth, and he's like a Hawaiian board shorts guy. And he's a bit of a lech. He's nothing like you think he'd be.
Am I getting kind of a vibe of like Family Guy God mixed with the Dude Lebowski?
Yes, that is my God in this world.
Is the dude?
His name is Howie.
It just works.
God, Howard from the Fatal Fury series.
Yeah, and so the Kickstarter was called Demi Demons. That's what I like this little group, because they're not full demons, they're Demi Demons, because they never quite made it. But I've kind of renamed the world like Hallowed Highways. So that's the new name for whatever the fuck I'm gonna do with this. I have no idea. So now I've got this, and then I've got the Ravager Chronicles, which is the RPG that I'm working on / serial fiction series on Kindle Vella. On Kindle Vella, it's called the Dead Wolf Diaries, in case anyone, is listening and reads on Kindle Vella. But it's like urban fantasy, where apocalypse, it's like the apocalypse has come, it's a zombie parasite, but America kind of handled it a little differently than you would imagine. And so America's been like shut down. They built they built huge walls around all the cities and created a new regime. And they just let the zombies like all wander around outside the cities to keep everyone in the cities, so they keep working and keep the gears turning. But there's also like, you ran into the issue of everyone's trapped inside these cities. Well, now you actually come face to face with the fact that your barber or your neighbor was probably a werewolf your whole life and you never knew it. And then you got the problem of werewolf zombies.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I started this stupid story on a whim for Kindle Vella, and then it was doing pretty well. So now I gotta keep going with it.
Such deception.
A werewolf zombie is probably like the worst thing I've ever heard.
You just like you find this out about your neighbor, and she's like, "I let you at my kid's bar mitzvah last year. Why didn't you tell us?"
Yeah, but it turned into another like, oh, this is actually sort of working. Now I have to keep going. Oh dear.
Okay, there is an important question from the chat. So do they become wolf at full moon and become a zombie by the day?
So after,
how does it work?
There's two different kinds of shapeshifters. There's lycanthropes and there's therianthropic shifters. So lycanthropes are the ones who are like, you get bitten and then you turn into full moon. And those are the ones who, if they're bitten by a zombie and they turn, then at the full moon, their little zombie corpse will kind of morph into that wolfman form, and it stays in that form. And like, depending on the animal, so like if it was a wolf, they're kind of pack animals, so they kind of all gather together, even though they're zombies. So they kind of have that pack instinct. And my characters called them Ravagers. She's named them, so it's like a first-person journal entry telling of this naive idiot person who's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to leave, because she got trapped in America when it all happened, because she was living in Australia. She's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't care what it's like. I want to leave this country. She's like, I'm just going to go out on my own into the Deadlands. And it's not going well. And so she's writing about it. And that's the story. It's just these first-person frantic little journal entries of, shit. But yeah, so they'll turn to like that half form, and then they stay that way.
Can you put can you link the novel in the collab chat so I can put it into the stream?
I can. So it's on Kindle Vella, which I think is still, because Kindle Vella is still in beta. I think it's only open
Ah.
to American readers at the moment, but I made a second little Patreon where I post all the episodes so my friends in other countries could read it. It's got like 4
Nice.
people. Back.
Leaving a phrase, the reasonable.
So here's the Vela link, and then here's actually my other Patreon for people in other countries because we love them too. And I actually put like both of my short story publications on this Patreon, and I'm doing updates of like my RPG. It's still very new, so there's not a lot because I've only made it like I don't know a couple months ago. But it's where I'll be putting all my like writing updates and episodes, and anything I publish will go on there.
And there are some people in chat that they say that they want the werewolf zombie figures.
They want the werewolf zombie. Okay, so now I have to finish it. It was another accident.
Also, zombie emus.
I have had an idea for. I came up with the idea of this stupid story like 15 years ago when I was at a horse show with my cousin, and I was just sitting in an empty stall with nothing to do and a tablet. And I started writing the Zombie Diaries because I was edgy teenager. This sounds fun.
And we all.
Yeah, and then I never finished it. And then Kindle Valley came out, and I was like, oh, well, this idea is still floating around. Let's do this. This edgy teenage bullshit. Yeah, so now I gotta stick with it. Oops. That was not intentional. I just thought I would make a few extra dollars off Kindle Valley, but it was a little bit more.
But I am glad that you're like, you're getting a lot of income from that.
Not a lot, but definitely a little bit more. Basically, everything I make from my writing, Kindle Valley, the Patreon, all of that just goes straight to my student loans. Just all of it. Student loans. That's it. So what I was going to say, and then I distracted myself, was that zombie sharks. Why has no one ever thought of zombie sharks? What happens to a shark when it eats a zombie corpse? Why has no one thought of this? Why has this not been addressed?
I'm pretty sure there was a movie about that. I'm almost sure there was a movie about that.
Are you thinking Sharknado?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, but that's tornadoes and sharks. That's not the same.
I don't think they had zombie sharks in that one. I knew they had sharks with explosives strapped to them in the tornado, but
that's hilarious. I've heard of Sharknado, but I never watched it. I always looked at it and I was like, this is the thing that I should watch if I'm very drunk or very high. It's gotta be one of the other. I can't watch it otherwise.
There is one. It's a 2015 film called Shark Island. Apparently.
Okay. I'm gonna have to watch this.
For
research purposes, I will watch this.
Apparently it's shit, but that one is good.
Hopefully mine will be a little less shit. I just want to make a zombie shark mini, guys, so I gotta write it in.
Make it like a diorama piece with it, like popping out of some water, eating someone. That would be cool.
Yes. I like it.
Zombie Jaws.
That was like one of my fascinating favorite movies when I was a kid. Jaws. And Tremors and Predator, the creature features. Yeah.
Okay, I liked Tremors. It was like there was one I could never get into, and that was mostly because of my arachnophobia. I couldn't get into creepy crawlies.
That makes sense. It's okay.
Or what was the other one? 8-legged freaks.
I don't think I ever watched any of the bug ones. I'm not afraid of bugs, but the bug ones never appealed to me.
I just don't like spiders. Like I could watch anything about other bugs. Like I could watch killer ants from outer space or something, whatever. But...
That sounds hilarious. I just saw someone in the chat. Tremors, let's go. Yeah, I just found out that my partner doesn't even know what Tremors is. He's never even heard of it, and I'm pretty sure it's grounds for breakup. Like this is a deal breaker.
No. That means you have to like watch it with him. with them.
You gotta tie him down and force him to watch it.
I know, but he's being all elitist, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to watch something from the '90s." And I'm like, "Fuck you! I was
So
born in the
he'd rather
'90s.
That
You
is
were born in the
that is
90s."
wrong.
So he'd
That
rather
is
watch
wrong.
something with
You
like
have to watch
egregious
like shitty
amounts of
movie.
CG and like dubstep.
I mean, like, how can you say no to Kevin Bacon and Underground
Exactly,
Monsters?
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, and like whatever his name is, who plays Bart. That guy's awesome.
Mhm.
Wait, there was a Tremors TV series?
I think they made a pilot, but I don't think the Tremors TV series went forward. I did just watch a new movie. I found it on Netflix when I was sneaky using my VPN to browse the US Netflix. And there was a new Tremors movie called Shrieker Island. Tremors Shrieker Island. And
Yes,
you're
Tremors
living a
Shrieker
better
Island.
life. You're living a better life not watching it. Don't do it. It did my boy Bert dirty, and I can't get over it. I had a big meltdown on Twitter about it, and then some Tremors account messaged me, and they're like, "We're sorry we couldn't get to you in time to stop you." I'm like, I can never get it out of my head. It was just don't watch it. Don't watch it, guys.
One movie I enjoyed watching back in the day that was like both sci-fi and creature feature at the same time. Just I considered Starship Troopers in that, just because of the bugs in that, like big stapler heads.
Mhm.
I don't
Just
think I've seen this one.
watch them come out of a cave and just like staple someone to death.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like something I'd have to be very high to watch.
Plus,
Truly.
also it has some great satire, and plus Neil Patrick Harris is just 10 out of 10.
So I assume we're all here for zombie sharks and creature features.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
More.
Well, actually, a question that just popped into my mind thinking about like the conversation from earlier about like your D&D game you're coming up with, like D&D style game.
Yeah.
Have you been into that sort of stuff for like since you were a kid, like when it comes to D&D?
Actually, no. So I did not grow up with like a lot of video games or in this kind of community. Like I didn't even know what Dungeons and Dragons was until like a couple of years ago because I'm obviously so interesting, right? Um, and so I started really kind of getting into it when I started doing the miniatures because I would go to the game store and buy the bestiaries
Oh
for
yeah.
ideas
Mhm.
for things to sculpt because I didn't know what I was doing. I fell into this by accident, guys. It wasn't on purpose. It was not my life plan. Um, so I got like the monster manual, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then I got some Pathfinder bestiaries, and I'm like, oh, these are really cool too. And now, what have I got on this desk? I've got uh this guide to Ravincia, the DM's book, the player's handbook. I've got D&D Beyond now. I've watched like all of campaign 3 of Critical Role. So I
Mhm.
haven't got to really play it, but like I've watched other people play it and it's really fun.
Yeah, I'm kind
And
of
I
Yeah.
same.
read the
Like I
books.
tried getting into it. Like when it comes to I'm a I'm a bit different to some people when it comes into like what want to get out of it. Like a lot of people want to do like big grand adventures of like war and stuff, right? But the
Mhm.
Mhm.
stuff that grabs me is like oddly enough books that flesh out like artistry and crafting in those universes. Like there's these books for D&D that are up on I think it's the DM's Guild, like the site that has all those like homebrews that are like endorsed.
Yeah.
There's like a series of them called Hammond's handcrafting handbook or harvesting handbook, and they have like unique little loot tables and stuff for different monsters and stuff that you can like harvest from.
Oh, that's interesting. So like this whole writing for D&D is very new to me. So like I haven't
Yeah.
done it before. So I'm making the source book, not an adventure. um But yeah, so I'll be needing a lot of playtesters. Anyone?
Me?
To make sure I get it right before I release this, because I don't actually know what I'm doing. Just sort of winging it.
That's
Sure we can
fine.
find some. Sure we can find some lovely people in the chat that would be interested.
Oh, that'll be
I'm
good.
Wink, wink.
wing wing nuts
Oh, I
nuts.
would be too.
Yeah,
So
because
have you
like writing.
Bella, have you ever like
Yes.
tried any other uh aside from D&D, have you tried other TTRPG systems?
I have not. No, I'm not
Ah.
that interesting. I've played like a couple sessions of D&D, like
Mm-hmm.
introductory sessions, and the first time was horrible because I didn't understand it. So I didn't know that like this was actually a role-playing game. I thought they were just telling me what to do and giving me options, and that is not
Ah.
how you play that.
Yep, yeah, that's not how
And
you
I
play
now
that.
know different. But no, so D&D is the only one that I really played. And then, of course, I've played Baldur's Gate 3, so obviously that makes me an expert, right? No.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so I
mean,
played Baldur's Gate 3, and I bought Pathfinder, that new Pathfinder game on Steam. I bought that, but I haven't played it yet. And that
Oh,
is the
you have to
extent
play
of
it.
my experience.
You have to play it. You really have to play it. It's a different
I just
system.
like reading the books, guys. I like writing shit and writing
Oh,
books. So I'm gonna try this.
yeah. Okay, so Pathfinder is a different system from D&D. It's using the
Yes.
Pathfinder system. And specifically, the new game is using Pathfinder 3, which a surprising number of people in my chat are actual players of.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to compare like the Pathfinder game to the Baldur's Gate game, just as someone who hasn't really played
Mm-hmm.
much of either and see the difference.
Yep.
And the mechanics.
Yeah, and aside from that, there are also like lots of other like TTRPG system. You have like
Like
from the Western side, you have like are you familiar with like Vampire the Masquerade?
Just assume no. Wait, yes, I do know of that one, but I don't know anything about the mechanics. So like the
Yeah.
only game where I have any idea of mechanics is D&D 5e.
Ah,
And you can thank Matt Mercer because I've just been binging Critical Role like a fucking idiot.
But you know,
Yeah.
you've got systems like like that, like the World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade stuff that I've been interested in lately, like Cyberpunk, the Star Wars systems, fucking Pathfinder and Starfinder.
I know
Yeah.
there's just so many, and I'm like, I want to just take a bite of all of them, but I know myself, and I will get distracted. I will get distracted with something new and shiny. And
Yeah.
Stick with one at a time. Just finish one thing before you move on to the next shiny. And that's my problem.
No, that is also our problem as well.
Yeah.
I've been like being yelled at by my by Olivia, one of our writer, for basic like my focus was just all over the place.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have to do like pretty much all the marketing as well for the project. So like, okay, I have to do marketing, I have to like the rule book as well. So it's like way all over the place.
Ew, marketing. Gross.
I
Hate it.
mean, I actually enjoy doing the marketing. Like as long as doing the copywriting side, I enjoy copywriting, but not so much on like other aspects.
It's
But
like
yeah.
social media is fun until I have to post on it and make people see it.
Yeah, like
Then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, the issue is the problem. Like I have to like do it consistently. Then yeah, especially when I have like this account, as a VTuber, it's I have to juggle multiple social media. It's hard.
I know. I've tried I've got Canva where it's got like the social media planner. and I'll
Yeah.
do real good and like plan a whole month of social media posts, and then the next 2 months I post nothing. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that went great. That did real good. That was
Mhm.
useful. Yeah, no, I hate this. Don't want to do it, but I have to because I work alone. Mm.
Okay, I actually that actually made me forgot of what I wanted to say next.
Think, Connie, think.
I don't run a show. I don't know what to talk about, so I don't know what to say next.
But yeah,
Just
if you
talk.
guys have any questions for Bella, feel free to ask. If you want to support Bella, I can put her Patreon again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got two
There's
Patreons. So one of them's
Yeah.
for 3D printing, and the other one is just for all of my writing endeavors.
there is also your Gumroad, as I can see.
Yeah. So all of
Wait.
my after I release things on my Patreon, I put the models into Gumroad or my Mini Factory. So you can buy them
Okay.
after. So it's not like exclusive. You can still go get them, just no discount.
Mhm.
That's
So
good.
there is a question from Mr. Galexus. How do you take your eggs?
How do I take my eggs?
Yes.
I like them crispy fried, but with the yellow part kind of runny on top of ramen.
Oh,
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. You know, the cheap ramen, but you make it yummy.
Yes, yes. Okay. Regarding ramen, what's your favorite ramen brand?
Oh. Okay, so I don't have a favorite brand at the moment, but I've been doing a lot of ramen hack experimentation with Shin ramen. Because my friend wants me to eat more Shin ramen because he's trying to up my spicy tolerance, and it's not working because I'm really white, but I'm trying really hard.
so full of spice.
I'm doing my best.
Have you tried Indomie?
Yes, I have tried Indomie. I don't have any in my pantry at the moment. I've got Shin ramen and I don't know, some random ramen where I can't, it's not in English, so I don't know what it is, but it's not spicy,
Okay.
so I'm eating it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Do you have a favorite cocktail?
My favorite cocktail. Well, my go-to drink is vodka orange. My
Mhm.
favorite cocktail, I don't think I have a favorite one, but I'm very cliche white girl and I like the pretty fruity ones. If it's pretty and fruity, I will probably like it.
Alrighty.
White girl's energy. I'm also like a super lightweight, so if I get halfway through any drink or cocktail, I'm completely smashed and I don't remember what I was drinking. So there's that problem.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being fairly basic.
The cheapest, I am the cheapest date out there. Like half a drink and I'm
Yeah.
smashed.
Nice. Uh, a question from River Captain. Do you have a favorite character archetype to write and read about?
Yeah, I definitely have a soft spot for the angry anti-heroes.
Mhm.
But like my favorite character archetype. Well, most of the books I read, I really enjoy reading books, urban fantasy of usually women protagonists. I love, the hard as nails, take no bullshit female main characters. Like Anita
Yeah.
Blake is a big inspiration for me, massive.
Mhm.
And Mary Gentry, if you're into the spicy stuff, that's real spicy. Quite enjoy that series by Laurel K. Hamilton and stories along those lines. Yeah, so just angry anti-heroes. Vegeta characters. Vegeta's my boy. You know, the
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
turnaround arcs, like once was evil and now is good because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
like Vegeta.
I've destroyed the world already. Now there's nothing to do.
Yeah, I like those characters. It's like, well, fuck, now what?
Kind of out of a job.
Oh,
Okay.
Deadpool for real. I fucking love Deadpool. He's my other boy. If I could just be the filling of a Deadpool Vegeta sandwich, I'd be so happy.
Oh my. Oh my.
So
Jesus.
there's another question from Valvera. So Bella, when are we getting more Ocelot minis?
Valvera has read my little short story, The Chase, obviously, which is
Mhm.
about an ocelot shifter. So that's I see
Oh.
you, Valvera. he wants me to make a figure of Casima Lockwood, and I will do it eventually.
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 Good lord. Yeah, that
It's like
that is
it's like a
probably
little romance erotica story I published.
Mhm.
Like romance, I don't know. And the main character is an ocelot shifter. Because I was like, I've never read about one of those before. Let's do it. So there it
Okay,
is. And now Valfera kind of stalks me about it. But in a
that
nice way.
does
In
go.
a nice way.
Yeah,
It's okay.
that does goes into my next question. Is that what makes you go into doing erotica and not say forward?
Well, at first, I was like, I'm gonna write little short erotica stories to make extra cash because they're little cash bundles on Amazon and I'm really poor. And then my
Mhm.
brain being what it is, it went from being just, plan was to write simple smut, no stories, just smut, write it, publish it, make a couple dollars so you can eat lunch. That was the plan. And then my brain can't handle that. And so now we've got a character, and she's got a backstory, and it's a little bit tragic, and she's got a personality, and now she's got this really mysterious boyfriend that we don't know much about, but they're like really in love, and they get along really well. And she's got this weird brother named Decky, and she's got this really, stubborn Irish mom,
Here we
and
go.
now it's a whole story, and it's no longer a simple smut. It is a whole thing.
The story's getting deep when there's an Irish mother involved.
There's an Irish mama.
Oh god,
my
whoever
plan.
Yep,
So my
whoever
plan
their
to write
in-law
little.
is, they need to be worried about their car.
So
Is that right,
so
Mari?
my plan. The plan was to write smut, and then that sort of got derailed. So there's one little short story about this little ocelot shifter getting frisky with her partner, and then I've finally started like second in the installment. Like 3 years later. And I've been putting that on Kindle Vella and my Patreon. And in this one, you meet the Irish mom, which means it's no longer just a smut series; it's a normal character development series.
Nice.
Shit. There we go again. So I can never just do something simple. It always turns into something more complicated.
Yeah,
Damn
but
it.
then it just, even with that complexity, like it adds more depth to everything once in the long run.
Yeah, it does. Now it's a whole thing, but it's no longer just a little. I'll write a little bit of smut and make some extra money because I'll just pump it out like crazy. Pun intended. Didn't work that way. Nope.
Intended.
Not intended, exactly.
Well, I mean, if you're on the topic, why not?
So,
yes.
how many books have you published?
I only have 2 short stories published. So one is The Chase. That's the little Ocelot Shifter one, little romancy one. And then there's another called Challenger, which is the first little short story in a different little mini series that I've been developing. These are all from the same world. So like Challenger, The Chase, my novel. They're all in the same universe, and eventually I would like these characters to all cross over. So Challenger is
Nice.
about like this ex-marine who was sent. She's a tiger shifter, and she was like sentenced to liquidation for murder.
Mhm.
But then at the last minute, before liquidation, she's given like a second chance because she was a Marine and she's got all these skills. She's given the opportunity to work on this new like experimental military task force, where they go in and they track down and fight like big old monsters and go against up the things that are too dangerous for a typical military, like human military. So they go after the really
Mhm.
big baddies.
You saying
And
they some kind of suicide squad?
yeah, it's a bit like a Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Definitely. I
Heck
hadn't
yeah.
put that together, but yes. So I started that, and that was an accidental start as well because I originally wrote that story for an anthology submission for this series called Snafu, uh, which is like these really cool. It's this really cool book that comes out like every year, and it's a whole bunch of little short stories that are all like action packed and military and just rah. And they're really fun, and they're actually a lot of the not a lot, but a few of the Love Death Robot episodes come from
Mhm.
the Snafu series.
Ooh,
And so I wrote this
interesting.
story for Snafu, and they shortlisted it, and then they sat on it for a long time, and it came so close to making the final cut and getting published, and then it just didn't make the final cut for the book.
Aw.
So I was
Oh.
like, oh, I'm sad. I'll just publish it myself.
So I'll just do it. Fine, I'll do it myself.
I'll do it myself.
In that spirit.
So, so now that's started. So that's another little series that I haven't updated yet. I was like, shit. And this is where we talk about ADHD kids and how you should probably find a way to manage that. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
end up in this shitstorm.
Where you have like a billion projects to do.
Yeah. No way to manage it. I need my own manager.
Mood.
No, I can't be a Thanos. I'm reading the chat. No.
Yeah.
I love them all too much. I can't snap any of them away. I have to keep them all and love them and talk about continuing them.
Mhm.
Just talk about it.
So that reminds me. I think one of the people in chat before us. What's the name of the mod that you have?
He doesn't have
The-
a name yet. He doesn't have one.
okay,
I've thought about it, and I haven't thought of one. And I thought about doing a poll on, I don't know, Patreon or something, but I forgot.
Mhm.
It doesn't have a name yet. So if you have ideas, then you should put them in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the moth was a Hail Mary. So our studio in Melbourne, we ended up naming Ghost Moth. And then I was sitting around trying to think of, what kind of logo can I make for Bellanacht Minis? Because it's been 2 years I didn't have one. I'd just been using Bellanacht Minis as text.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, what can I use? Because Bellanacht means beautiful night, and get this, Bellanacht. So when I made the first Kickstarter, Beautiful Night, and I was kind of fumbling around for like, oh, what do I call myself? I don't know what I'm doing. Bellanacht is a place inside my novel, my main book. It's not published. I'm like, I'll just use that. So it all comes full circle. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, what can I use for a logo? I don't fucking know. I'm like, a moon is too cliche. That is overdone and it is cliche. And I was like, moths are pretty, and I have a whole like moth subplot line metaphor in one of the books. So let's do moth because moths are really cool.
Yes.
So now my logo is a moth, and he doesn't have a name yet.
I agree. Moths are indeed very pretty. Yes,
Oh
yes.
my god, I love moths. Forget butterflies. Moths are the shit.
Moths
They're
are
little
top tier.
little night flutters. Yes.
Okay, there is a question from River Captain here. How
Mhm.
many houseplants do you have, and how are they doing?
how many house plants do I have and how are they
Yeah.
doing? I used to have 2 and they're dead.
Oh,
Oof.
So, but I have a cat and it's still alive. So does this count?
I think it counts. I
um,
think it
if
counts.
if you count
A
the
cat
cat as
is
a
a plan
houseplant, I
if he wants to.
suppose.
The cat's still alive,
It's
but
a box plan. It's a
the
box plan.
plants did not last long. There are some
Yeah.
leeks growing in the front yard. I don't know how or why, but they are there and they are somehow still alive even though I'm ignoring them. Because I didn't even know what they
Mhm.
were. And then the landlord lady's like, "Oh, these are leeks. You can eat these." And I'm like, "No. It looks like a cat peed on them. I'm not touching them."
Yeah, no thanks, Chief.
And they're still alive and growing, and I don't know how or why.
I mean, leeks are pretty, are pretty.
Are they tasty? I've never actually had one.
Wait, you never had leeks before?
No, I don't think I've ever had one.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, okay. So next time you make ramen, whenever you make ramen, get some leeks, chop them up diagonally, and then put them on top of the ramen along with the eggs.
Well, I mean, Sadler Dance in chat says leeks are gross, so I don't know if I trust you now.
I am a culinary student. It's literally my job to like make sure people eat well, and leeks are good if they are
I will
like
get
just
a
clean them properly.
small. I will get a little one from the store, not the yard,
Yeah.
and try it.
And leeks are really good if you want like make soups. Like soups or broth if you like want to make them like Asian style. Use
Yeah.
leek, ginger, and onion.
Well, ginger and
put
onion I've got,
whatever.
so I guess I've got to add some mix in. I will tell you how it goes.
Okay. I am a professional. I am a chef in training, so I know what I do.
Oh, so you know your shit.
Hopefully,
Okay.
yeah, I know my
Then I
shit.
will definitely let you know how it goes. Everyone just got quiet.
No, I just have to bring the dog downstairs because she's at that age now where she can't get down the stairs by herself.
Oh, poor sweet
Mm,
baby.
I think it's more that she's just afraid of heights.
Oh, that's fair. That's
Wait,
fair.
wait, what? Really? I
Yeah,
never had my dogs being that afraid of heights.
depends on the size. Like
Uh,
it tends to happen a lot with smaller dogs.
I mean, I mean, Snuffles isn't that small. I think.
She's heavy.
Yeah, I mean, like with my old dog, with like my previous dog, Jockey, that uh he doesn't care much about height unless it was me dangling him from like 4 feet or something.
What would you do that for?
I love
Maybe
dogs.
because he was being, because sometimes like Jockey was being bad, so like I like dangle him from on top of my head.
That's hilarious. I love dogs. I miss having
Yeah.
them.
Oh, we've had Snuffles now for 14, 15 years now. Like we've had her since she was
Jesus Christ.
born,
Okay.
Oh.
and
Yeah. That.
she's gone from being like this. She used to be this like super energetic kind of always wanting to play to this
Mhm.
almost crotchety old woman.
No,
She's just a
yeah,
crotch.
no. I mean, yeah, that is fair. Like with my old dog, that also happened. So yeah.
I just have this 9-year-old fat cat that I brought with me. I paid him. I'm gonna like
meanwhile,
bring him
I've
over
got
from
like
Australia.
Meanwhile, I have to like dog sit my sister's dog for until whenever she's back.
Ah, yes, kimchi.
Yeah, because like kimchi is like uh kimchi is like 10 months old now. Holy crap.
Aw, puppy energy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Puppy
he has a
energy in the
very
size of a
big puppy
giant.
energy. He's actually taller than me when he's standing, so oh my god. No.
That's adorable. I love it. I miss having dogs, but I have a cat, so I have to just be happy with this little shithead.
Mhm.
It's just an angry ball of fluff.
Ain't the mall, ain't the mall.
Uh, um, what else is there we can talk about? Maybe anything upcoming project-wise, maybe?
Well, I'm finishing these fucking Demi Demons. Trying so hard to
Yeah.
get them done. But I have an idea for a Kickstarter that I'll do next. That'll be the single character at 75 and 120 mils versions, and it's gonna be part of a seasonal series. So I'll do this one is the summer themed one, and the
Mhm.
next one. No, this one is the spring themed one, and then I'll do one in a couple months that'll be summer themed, and then autumn themed, and then winter themed. So you gotta, gotta get all four so you can have the whole set.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
It's another one of those. Oh, this seems like a good idea. Let's see what happens.
Mhm.
And it probably won't go the way I expect it. So we'll see. So hopefully I would like to have that ready to go by next month. But it depends on if I can finish my little Demi Demons this month, which is what I said last month and the month before and the month before. So let's find out.
Mhm.
Yeah, just had a heap of work. So I just keep getting behind because like our studio in Australia, we're working on government funding at the moment, so we have these deadlines that we have to meet. So even though we're only getting paid for like 1 day a week of work, we have to do a lot more work than that so we can meet these deadlines to meet the qualifications of the funding we received.
Mhm.
And then like last month, I got behind on my Patreon and I had to put aside like all of my writing projects. And I got behind the Patreon and I had to just like focus on the game because we got the opportunity to apply for a new grant, a new government grant, which
Mhm.
is big enough. If we get it, will fund us for like a year. It'll take us up to early release on Steam.
Oh,
So
damn.
that took a lot of our time. So that's what like put me behind again on finishing the Demi Demons because I had everything ready to, to sit down and get done last month. But then
Mhm.
that came up and we had to put everything on the back burner. Because you can't leave your team hanging when you have a
Yeah.
team,
Yep.
especially when you're applying for like a massive grant. So hopefully Demi Demons get done this month and go up onto late pledge on my mini factory, and then hopefully by the end of next month I'll have like a new Kickstarter ready to go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I will try to help you out with the advertisement as much as I can then.
So whatever date I give, just assume it'll probably be 2 weeks late
Alrighty.
because I know myself
Yeah.
at this point.
I mean like I'm I'm actually like pretty nervous with doing the Kickstarter because I never done one. Like do you have like any pointers in doing that?
And doing what? Sorry, can you repeat?
Uh in in starting a Kickstarter.
Oh, and starting a Kickstarter. Um.
The
Well,
communication is like a big key.
yeah. So like my first Kickstarter did really well, and it was totally by accident because I just didn't know what I was. I knew even less of what I know now, which is still very little. But my first Kickstarter, I think it did well because I made one character and then I just completely newbie spammed like all of the Facebook groups with it
Mhm.
and was like, "Hey, download this for free." And then I was like, "Wait a minute. get them to sign up for a newsletter. So I did that
Nice.
instead. So I did that then. I'm like, sign up for this newsletter and you'll get this model for free. And then I finished the like I did like the 8 core characters, and then I launched the Kickstarter, and all that newbie spamming apparently worked because I sent out the newsletter, and then it was like fully funded in like an hour, and
Ooh.
I had only thought it would make because I put the goal at like I don't know $1,000, and I thought it would only make like $1,000 by the end of the month.
Mhm.
And then it just blew through that in the first hour. And I was like, oh my God. And my grandma was like, you're not a failure. Finally.
Finally.
Finally, she did something worthwhile to pay the bills.
Wow.
I love my grandma. She's the best. So that's how I did the first one. So I'm not the best person to ask for advice because I didn't know what I was doing then, and I only sort of kind of know what I'm doing now.
I mean, it counts. It counts.
But yeah,
Okay?
I released something for free. I got people interested by releasing something for free because
Mhm.
people love free stuff.
Yeah,
And it
people do
probably
love free
didn't
stuff.
hurt that all my characters were like pinup style female,
Mhm. Yeah,
because the world is horny, and that's just the way it is.
it is. I mean, you're talking to someone who's working on an actual,
Yeah.
let's say, for work minutes. So, yeah,
Well, hopefully
I
it'll do
think,
great. So I would say probably give something away for free, but get them to sign up for a newsletter so that you retain that contact, so you can update them. And
yeah,
this is marketing or something, I think it's called.
oh my God, I have to do that now. I have to like do a newsletter, and I have no idea how to write newsletters.
Well, I know it's so I don't like it. I'm bad
I
at
mean,
it.
I have
So like I got a
plans.
MailChimp. I made a
Mhm.
MailChimp and I was doing that, and then because I used Gumroad to give the character away for free, Gumroad has kind of a little newsletter feature built in, which is actually way better. So I
Ah,
would say just use that, because then once someone like downloads your product or buys something from you, they're kind of added to your list, and then you
mhm.
can send them a newsletter. So it's all in one platform, so it makes it way easier to kind of like keep contact and keep them up to date on what's going on. You can just send like a massive post out to everybody. So I would say use that instead.
Ah.
From a
Ye-
marketing perspective, it's much easier and it doesn't
Yeah,
cost anything like MailChimp
yeah,
does.
yeah. That is absolutely fair. I'm just afraid of like uh missing the what's it called, missing the window
Deadline?
for that. Yeah, no, missing the window for that. Hopefully not.
Well, people always want free stuff, so
Yeah,
that's how you hook them, and that's how you just keep them forever. You just trap them. They fell into the trap on their own. It's their own fault.
yeah, yeah. That is fair. And yes, Bella is indeed a marketing genius.
I'm not, but it's nice that you think I am. I have no clue what I'm doing. It's like, oh, this seems logical. Let's try this.
Mhm.
Using common sense seems to be a good idea.
Well, I mean, it was all by accident. Like, literally everything I have done has been
Just
an
one accident
accident.
after another.
Yeah, it's
Just
just,
happy little
I mean,
accidents.
if you had any idea how many things I tried and how much mud I've slung against the wall to see what sticks, just in my life in general, uh, you'd be amazed I'm even still alive. My grandma certainly can't believe I've made it this far and I'm still alive based on my luck and circumstances.
um, I honestly can't think of anything else to ask. Actually, Tommy, you got anything?
Uh, right. Uh, oh God. I suddenly forgot what I wanted to say. Oh no.
You
What I
lost
want to
it.
say.
Oh no. Commie's lost it.
Yeah. I think I lost my train of thoughts earlier. Um.
What
Welcome
is your
to the club.
favorite? Oh wait, here we go. Oh, hold on, Reaver. Don't go asking that one. That's just you're gonna start a war here. I think.
Oh! I saw it. I saw
Yes.
it.
I'm a solid nay on that one.
Regarding that, what's your favorite pizza topping?
Meat lovers. Just
There
meat
we
and
go.
cheese. I like my pizza like I like my men. Meaty and cheesy. Let's go.
Meaty and
Let's
cheesy.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What is your favorite mini you have made? Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
What's my favorite mini?
To date,
Probably I have one called Aslan, which was like an octopus lady, because I got a thing for tentacles.
Yes.
yeah, who doesn't in this day and age?
I know, right? So yeah, the tentacle one that I made a while back, and like that one, I also made a jellyfish one, like a jellyfish girl, and the jellyfish one actually, like I was running out of time to finish my Patreon figure, and I was like, oh no, I'm out of time. What do I do? And so I was just kind of
Mhm.
bullshitting. I'm like, this looks interesting, I guess. I don't know. They'll probably hate it. And then it turned out to be like probably one of the more popular figures that I've made, the jellyfish girl.
Oh, I do
I was
love
like,
your
oh
jellyfish
look.
girl.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was so sleep deprived and tired, and I was like, I guess this works. It looks done. Uh, and I thought it was shit, and then everyone liked it, so that's another happy accident. You know, like
Mhm.
Bob Ross says, just a happy accident.
Don't make mistakes. I think, like, looking through your Gumroad on some of your past ones, some of the ones that really stand out to me, I have
Mhm.
to say that the 1920s pinup one does really stand out to me.
Oh really? That's my newest one. I just did that for last month on Patreon.
Yeah, because like you don't see a lot of places do like kind of 20s styled figurines or models.
Yeah, I was yeah, so I have a poll, so I put up ideas on the poll and then the patrons vote on it. And I didn't think that one would get voted on, but again I was wrong.
Mm,
As
just
always.
just gives me an idea of doing like a Gatsby-esque like diorama.
Yeah, like I spent a lot of time kind of freaking out, like, oh no, I don't know how to model, like a flapper dress because I've got so much fringe. And then I was
Mhm.
like, though it's pinup, she doesn't need a dress. Third.
So,
Solved that
of
problem right
course.
there. Because I was
Yeah.
stressing.
See what else is there? Ooh, Saola. I'm assuming it's that a satyr with a pan flute.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be a tiefling.
Ah, right. Just beside a
Ah.
by a well.
Yeah, I was just most of my figures, man, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just wing it. I'm like, this seems interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this. Like, I'll have an idea of what I'm gonna do, and then when I'm actually doing it, the idea kind of just goes out the window, and it just ends
Okay.
up being whatever I come up with
Okay,
in the process.
there's a Demi Demons one that's just taken by affection now.
Oh yeah, so
Mm,
that one that'll be going up on late pledge as soon as I finish these last
uh,
two little chapters.
no,
It
I'm
probably
look the
would
one
have
I'm
been
seeing
done.
here. Was
Yeah,
it
so
Lucifer?
that's the one, the Demi Demon on the Gumroad that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Demi Demon set. That's the one that's going up on late
Uh,
pledge. So it's on
right.
Gumroad because that's how I deliver
But
the rewards to
I
the campaign backers
I see. Because
without
this
worrying about like a
Lucifer
Google
one,
link.
just a little demon cat.
Oh, that's my
Good lord.
cat. That's my
Lucifer.
Lucifer. Yes, that's my cat. That's his true form with one tooth and everything. No, he's got one tooth and he's a little asshole, so his name is Lucifer.
Good lord.
I mean, most cats are, you know.
Yeah, like even now as we speak, he's mad at me. Because he's
You're
fucking
talking
he's got
about
a
him.
strict bedtime of like between 9 and 10 p.m., he just starts getting fussy and ready for bed, and he starts trying to shuffle me off the computer. He'll get in the way and he'll lay on the keyboard, and he's like, "Mom, I'm ready for bed. It's time to go to sleep."
It is time
And
for
he's just
slumber.
yeah, yeah. But I only recently learned because my partner told me that apparently this little asshole takes me to bed. He always gets in bed with me, and he always cuddles with me. He always has to be my little spoon, whichever way I'm facing, and that's how we
Mhm.
sleep. But apparently, after I fall asleep, he fucks off for the rest of the night around the house and just does his own thing, and then comes back before I wake up, and I never had any idea
So he's just
until
doing it just to mess with you.
until my partner told me recently. He's like, every time you fall asleep, yeah, he comes back out here and he just does his own thing all night, and then he goes back before you wake up in the morning. Like, my life has been a lie. Our relationship is a
Your
lie.
your cat
Yeah,
is your
somebody.
keeper, apparently.
He is, yeah.
Then again, it's all cats are their master's keeper.
Your cat is your keeper. He's just making sure you go to bed.
Yeah, so like right now, he's actually still in bed right now, but he's just fucking glaring at me. Wait, you're not supposed to be up.
But, then like I'm just looking back at some of the earlier stuff that I saw when I first
Mm.
got back into Twitter, and then like your page was one of the first ones I saw for like sculpting.
Oh,
Like,
is it?
th-
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
it was like when I got back into things, and I saw like your Frank and Francine busts.
Yeah, those are fun. I should do more. I
Yeah,
want to do more of those of like that kind of
kind of
cartoony style.
yeah, sort of like Nightmare Before Christmas kind of
Yeah,
style.
well, like I want to do more of that, but like the real problem is 3D stuff takes a long time to do. It's a very time consuming process to create these, and we're kind of living in a culture where people kind of want new content
They want
constantly.
things, yeah, they
They
just
want
want things
things
churned
new,
out.
new, 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 and it's gotta be, churned out so fast. And
Mhm.
like I get lots of people that ditch my Patreon and leave me because like I don't put out as many figures as other Patreons.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
it's like people just don't understand exactly how time consuming this is and how those other Patreons have like five, six,
Th-
7 people working on them.
Yeah, they've got like whole teams
Yeah.
working
Yeah,
on.
it's whole studios, and like this takes a long time to
Yeah,
do.
it's unrealistic to compare some like just somebody working on their own with a full proper studio
Yeah, so
when it
like I've
comes
got
to
all these
workflow.
projects I want to do, but it's all timing because it takes a long time to do them. Uh, and then by then you've got people barking at you because they're like, oh, we want new stuff, or why isn't this done, or where is this, or where is that, and I'm like, just one person.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
gonna give me a mental
exactly.
breakdown.
That's why like I did think I was tinkering a while ago with doing a Patreon, but I was like thinking, what could I even offer as one person?
Well, it
Because it just
can be done. Just say goodbye to your social life.
yeah. Well, I don't have one to
Yeah.
begin with, so
Then you're in prime position. Go for it.
oh,
But yeah, like I think with uh yeah, I mean with Arabelic as well, it's like we only have like 2 artists, like two 3D
Mm,
artists. So yeah, it's gonna be I would say at least like takes 2 to 3 months to complete basically an army. So yeah, it's gonna gonna be a while.
yeah, it's just creating things is very time consuming. And if I could go back, I would probably like I love having my Patreon, but it is a bit stressful having to turn out at least 2 figures a month. Um
Mhm.
and keep it going and always be that creative. I would if I could go back, I would probably maybe not
Like
do
do
a
one.
Patreon. Like I like having my Patreon, but I would probably not have started it when I started it. I would have stuck with
Ah,
doing
yeah.
just Kickstarters, where you can
Mhm.
take your time to do the set, and then you can focus wholly on the stretch goals afterwards. And then you get a bit of a larger payout, so it lasts longer. for you to do the next one. So if I could go back and do it over, I'll probably not have started my Patreon when I did. I would have stuck with doing Kickstarters
I
for a while
see.
longer, like just those, just so I could concentrate on them. Because I'm not a fast
Mhm.
sculptor, but it's just a time
Yeah.
consuming process.
Okay. I think I finally remember what I was gonna ask.
Mhm.
What software do you use for like sculpting?
For sculpting, I use ZBrush. So
Ah.
that's pretty much the only program I use now, and I use Keyshot for rendering.
Mhm.
Um, I got real lucky. My grandma helped me buy ZBrush back when I started. So like she bought half of it for
Mhm.
my birthday, and I paid for the other half because it's quite expensive to buy up front.
Yeah.
Um, but cheaper than the in the long run, it's cheaper to buy it up front than it is to do the subscription.
Yeah.
As are all
Yeah.
things, because
Indeed.
then you get it. Because now I've got it for life. I get all the updates and everything. So it was probably
Mhm.
for me a very good investment.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Because like I remember, what was it? Back when you could just outright buy Photoshop and Premiere, like you could just
I
pay
miss
one
those
off.
days. I miss
But now,
those
and now they
days.
basically just force you to like do a subscription model, and it works out 2 or 3 times more expensive than it was just to buy it outright.
Yeah, yeah. I pay like 43 Australian dollars a month for the Adobe Suite for Photoshop and After Effects and all that. And it's just murderous. And that's with me, scamming them into giving me the student discount because they sent me a vaguely worded email that alluded that I could keep my student price if I did a thing. So I did the thing. And then they didn't want to do it. And then I was like, no, no, look at this email you sent me. It says that if I do this thing, I get to keep my current student price. And I just
Yeah,
hounded these guys until they gave in.
I
I was
mean,
like,
yeah, that's
I don't
fair.
care about your terms and conditions because this email says something different. Sometimes you gotta be a Karen when it comes to these big corporations.
Yeah.
Gotta be a
I mean, you
Karen.
have to. It's against a big corporation, so yeah, it's
Mm.
absolutely.
Uh,
So yes, I use ZBrush for all of it. I've learned to do everything in ZBrush. I used to. So the first 3D program I
Mhm.
ever learned was Maya, Autodesk
Uh-huh.
Maya, and I would love to use that for things like rendering and such. But it's another program where you have to buy it yearly, and there is an indie
Yeah.
license now where you can get it for like $200 for the year,
Ugh.
but it's still
Yeah.
a subscription. And if you don't specifically go in and get that indie license, it's like $4 grand. It's ridiculous. So I've just been trying to learn how to do everything
Yeah.
in ZBrush and
Yeah.
Keyshot. So there's a Keyshot is a render engine,
Mhm.
and it's very
Mhm.
expensive, but there is like a Keyshot bridge where it'll only work with ZBrush, and it's much cheaper. So I bought that because I only use ZBrush for a
Okay.
couple hundred instead of a few thousand. So
mm,
I use those two programs.
Yeah. Ah. Okay. Nice.
well, okay, Ravid. Just admitting to a crime.
Ravid, I appreciate you. I feel this. I did that for the
It
longest time
is.
after I left. After I left
Yeah,
uni, I
I
just
wa
kept
I
using my
won't
student
lie.
email.
When I was in school when I was in college for software development, me and basically everyone in my class did the same thing to get what was it? It was one of the Adobe programs. It was not Illustrator, but the one that's used for doing HTML and CSS programming.
Web, Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver, that's the one. We just used it to get Dreamweaver for free for a year after the course ended.
Yeah, I remember trying to learn that garbage. Now I just use WordPress.
Yeah,
Yeah, was not good at that. Not good at coding at all. Not my thing. It's fun. I'm not good at it.
I enjoyed it, but I don't think I honestly don't think I'd be qualified enough to do proper contract work. Like
Yeah, no.
I could use coding to do some meme work for someone, but
Yeah, no.
but
So like I I learned a little bit of coding. I learned a little bit of C sharp, but like the knowledge only lasted for as long as the project lasted, and then it went away. So like if I went to do something else in C sharp, like in Unity 3D for making a game or something, which is what I was doing, I'd have to relearn it. But I think I can make a good menu with buttons.
Buttons.
With buttons. That was the funnest part, was making buttons.
Yeah.
And that is the extent of it.
You just open up like Visual Studio, throw in a couple of buttons, maybe a pop-up or two.
No, I'll stick with sculpting titties over the coding. It's much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least you don't have to like do the. I mean, I have to do the coding for the stats, the army stats for Aerobellica. So, oh my god, I have to learn all of this.
Wait, what kind of database system are you using for that thing?
Oh, it's not that hard actually. Like it's pretty visual based, but you know, I still have to do every one of them.
Yeah, it's just
So it's
sitting
gonna be
there and
pain.
doing data entry is just so mind-numbing.
Yep.
Do not envy you. Good luck, can't help. Wish you best.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks.
Uh, do we have any
Reach
more
that awkward
questions?
silence again.
Yep. Yeah, this happens a lot on our podcast. So
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
we're not exactly the best at planning these things.
No,
It's
Kind of
no,
okay.
just
I don't think
not at
anyone
all.
here is the best at anything, so
Um,
it's
um,
all good.
I did say that I only have like 5 questions written, and I pretty much ran through all over them, and you know, and had to like make up. I have to improv.
uh
And
mood.
I think
Yes.
like Mari asked like some of the questions I wanted to ask, so you know, it's
Oh,
fine.
sorry, I didn't
No,
realize.
no, Mari. That means that you're learning. You're getting good at this.
Wait, did you ask everything you wanted to ask?
I
Or was
think
there
so.
something else?
Oh,
Oh,
there is a question from River.
Mm-hmm.
What is your
Favorite
favorite
himbo.
himbo in media?
Vegeta.
Fair enough.
Vegeta.
Good. Very consistent. Absolutely.
Just straight up
Just
Vegeta.
Vegeta. Give me my prince boy. Yes.
Oh, that's a difficult one for me. Like
I probably got more, but Vegeta's
if
the
we're
first one that pops into my head.
if we're talking anime, I always have to go back to my classic. I have to go to Sebastian from Black Butler. Because I like me some Demon Butler boys.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Is he wait, is Vegeta a himbo?
Yes.
Wait,
I
he
don't
does have a
know.
kid. Well, yeah, he is
Yes.
married and he has a kid. So
Yes.
yeah.
Vegeta is a himbo. Like no question, no further question regarding.
Oh, wait, I wasn't sure what himbo meant. A good-looking but unintelligent young man.
Good looking
Sounds
but
like Vegeta to
unintelligent.
me.
I mean,
That's the
Vegeta's
dictionary.
he is pretty dense at times.
Yeah.
I think he's only dense because the author doesn't like him.
Aw.
The author doesn't like him, and that's why Vegeta always gets the shit end of the stick, because the author loves Goku. And I think Goku just needs to fuck off.
Goku is also a himbo.
Goku would be a himbo, yeah.
Yeah.
Goku's definition himbo right there.
Yes.
Curtis. No. Maybe if we want to go a bit memey with answers, the bus driver Otto from Simpsons.
I mean, what
Just
about
Disco Stew.
what's his name? That really cute one from that movie.
From
Crank?
that movie.
Kronk?
Oh, Kronk?
What's his name?
Yeah,
Kronk?
yeah, Kronk. Yes.
Kronk!
Yes.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
He's adorable.
Oh,
He
the lever.
is.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Kronk.
That is indeed Big Himbo.
He tries his best.
He
does.
does, and he deserves
Yeah, you
good
can't
things.
fault him for doing his best.
No, you really can't. He's 10-10 good boy.
And his spinach pups. He's really into making spinach pups. Ugh.
So, I guess if I can't have Vegeta, then maybe Kronk.
That
Pretty
works.
cute guy.
So, are there further questions from the ladies and gentlemen at the chat? We'll give about a minute. If not, then I think we have like asked a lot of questions, and
Yeah.
Well, this was my
Don't
first podcast, so hopefully I didn't derail it too much.
No.
no. This is
You did
perfect.
good. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Where
oh,
cassowaries?
you better cassowary.
The hell's a cassowary?
A cassowary is a bird.
Oh, it's a bird.
Yeah, it's usually found in Indonesia, actually.
Where are they found? They're
In
native to
Indonesia.
the tropical forests of New Guinea, Aru
Yeah.
Islands, and northeastern Australia. Well, the Ravager Chronicles is currently based in the U.S., so no one in the U.S. knows what's happened beyond. So no one knows what's happened in the rest of the world.
Ah,
Yeah, so I haven't quite decided how the rest of the world has handled it too.
damn. So
But
we aren't getting
a main
evil.
plot point, a main plot point of the series that I'm writing and the RPG will be, you don't know what's beyond the walls of the country. So there are borders on the north and south borders, like walls built, and you don't know what's happened beyond because the U.S. cut you off from the rest of the world, created its own internet system, no access outside. So you just, as a civilian, have no idea where your cousin in Canada is a zombie or is living their best life.
I don't think I will.
We're moose in Canada. Let's go.
Zombie moose.
We're zombie moose.
moose.
No, we're zombie moose.
Zombie moose.
Oh, you know what I just thought of? This is a
Yeah?
random, very random thing, super random, that I recently learned.
Mhm.
Moose are a normal food. Well, not normal food. Well, yes, normal food for orca because moose will dive like 20 feet into the ocean to look for food and shit.
Wait, what?
And-
Why?
And
yeah,
I
just
learned
casually.
this recently, and because I've been learning scuba diving because my partner was an instructor. And so I recently learned this, and I'm like, what the fuck? So there's divers out there who are just minding their business in the seaweed, and a fucking moose will just come at them from the left? Like, what is happening?
Just a random moose.
But
just
this is a
starts-
thing. Yeah, so
Fuck.
moose dive down like 20 feet into the water, and because they do this, they are a typical meal for orca.
Jesus
Hi.
Christ.
You're welcome for this random tidbit of information. I have many more. I just can't think of them right now.
Amazing. Okay.
That thought of just seeing a moose go past you underwater now, that's gonna play in my mind for the rest of the day.
I know, it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
It's not even terrifying, it's just bewildering.
Well, like, have you ever seen a moose up close? They're fucking terrifying. And, like, their eyes don't even shine. Like if you're driving, their eyes don't even shine; they're just
They're
black.
just soulless.
Soulless black things.
Stare into your existence. It's just like,
It's like, what the hell?
immortal.
So, you're welcome.
I mean, the closest thing I've seen to that is a deer. Up close. But deer are alright.
Deer are good. Deer are good eating. Yum, yummo.
Yeah,
Moose are
yeah.
good. Moose are good eating too. I've eaten moose. They're also delicious.
Wait, really? I never had moose before. So
I've
it's
had
gonna
moose, I've
be.
had deer,
Ooh,
alligator, bison, bear, wild turkey. I don't know. My family in the States were all hunters, so
nice.
wild game it is for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Had
Moose are good
kangaroo.
burgers. Kangaroo is good though.
Kangaroo is delicious.
Yeah, kangaroo is really nice. I
And
miss eggs.
high in iron, gentle kids. It's high in iron, so it's good for your health.
Yeah,
Iron.
I actually miss eating kangaroo. I haven't had kangaroo since 2008. So yeah, it's been a
Oh.
while.
Yeah, I can't. I don't get it here in New Zealand. It's in Australia, so.
Yeah,
So
I know it's like close, but yeah, New Zealand doesn't have any kangaroo.
no. But it's very healthy, kids. So if you ever get the chance to try it, you definitely should.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there like a thing of like eating? I don't know how bad it's gonna say, but like, isn't there a thing of like eating kangaroo testicles, or is that just a thing they do for those in reality game TV shows?
I have no idea.
Because
No,
we
no clue.
have a show over here where in my neck of the woods called "I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here," right? And one of
Uh-huh.
the challenges they normally get them to do is to eat various parts of an animal, but they don't know it until like the dish comes up to them. And one of them that they usually use a lot is kangaroo testicles.
I have no idea if people regularly eat kangaroo balls. I don't think I ever saw it in the
Kangaroo
grocery
balls.
store. I don't think I ever saw kangaroo balls in the grocery store. I did see kangaroo scrotum in a gift shop, and it was like stuffed and had a bottle opener on it. That's as
Okay,
close as I've come to kangaroo balls.
I see. Yeah. All right. So I think we have. Oh shit! We actually like have run for
Yeah,
like
we've been over the
90
minutes.
minutes.
But like it was
Oh,
so
oops,
fun that like I didn't want to point it out.
sorry.
No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
no, no,
no.
no.
It's
Nothing to be sorry
um,
for. It's fine.
it's actually like perfect timing. So thank you everyone for coming. I've been your host, Kommissar Azura.
I've
My
been Mary.
co-host, Mari. Okay. Uh, and my other co-host, Felfarosa, somewhere in the background.
She's just been there inquisiting
Yeah.
things.
And our special guest for today, Bella from Bellanacht 3D.
It was really cool.
And I will
Yes.
see you all next time. Let's rate our usual subject. And I will see you all on Sunday. Thank you everyone for
Yeah.
coming, and I will see you all soon. Bye bye.
Bye.